surprised at him today.
Okay, pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Can I say something?
I like moment of silence.
Generator test.
Generator test.
Yep, that's what that is.
Okay, do we have any announcements or correspondence?
I'd like to share, I received a phone call from a resident, and they wanted to make sure that I told everybody how much they appreciated the road department. That, the work they have done, they're always there. They always, whenever Dave gets called, he always try to get out there and handle the situation and make a one-on-one contact. And they really appreciate that. We have a good crew in the road department that we have.
That's great. Thank you, Sue.
I have an announcement. We have a lot of plants on the back counter. If anybody wants to take some plants home, there's trees and house plants and some garden plants. So if you need them for personal use or for somewhere in the township, feel free to take some.
Okay, thanks, Cassie.
I'm sorry to have all that rain Saturday.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and the trees were donated by Soil and Water. So.
Okay, hey, I just want to, I did have a phone call down in Florida. Apparently there's some kind of Rick and roll being passed on Facebook in reference to the car we purchased. And there was one trustee that did not agree with it, which is fine, that's his prerogative. But let's set the record straight. That car was not paid for by our taxpayer dollars. That was paid for by the Maintenance and Improvement Fund, okay? Now, there was also a resolution that was passed that people could take that car with them. Because if there's ever an issue, we want that, our department heads to have that car. That car was also, now that since it's for administration, that car was also for administration to use. So technically, now that we provide a car, we do not have to pay people for their mileage. So I don't know, some people tend to feed things on Facebook, which is not called for. Everyone needs to know the true story. I don't want to hear from anybody that it was paid for by your tax dollars. It was paid by the M&I fund, which is from the JED, and that was what it was intended for. So, you know, I do get time off like other people, but I still answer my phone. Even though it's my private line, I just think this is BS that some people tend to throw gasoline on the fire when it shouldn't even be thrown on it. So that's it. That's all I'm talking about. So, okay. Meeting guests. We are going to have a guest. We have Chad Murdoch, our attorney coming.
He's gonna be here, 8:45 or so.
Right. Okay, so I think once Chad gets here, we're going to go to executive session. Also, the minutes, you guys have already approved them all? No,
We did from the ones that were from the 9th. Well, you know what, those were from the
Fifth.
5th, yes, they were 4 or 5.
Okay, was that a meeting that Nick was not here, so he cannot vote?
I don't believe he was here.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a motion that we table those minutes so I can have a chance to read them, because it's not fair to have Nick sign them if he is not there. Okay, need a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, so for the agenda, I have one addition under administration, under new business, B, trustee liaison appointment to the administration build portion of the new town hall and fire station. I need a second.
Second.
All those in
Correction on that, that should be A, not B. A is a none.
Yeah, that's fine.
Admin
A.
2A.
Okay.
And that was, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
Did you say there's an executive session with the attorney right now, or executive session on the agenda? Shows compensation of a public employee or official, which comes from the police department. Do we need to add an executive session?
That, there was a part from the executive session from the PD, yes, where they want to talk about a,
Compensation of a
Yes.
employee or-
But do we need a second executive session? You just said Chad more about this now.
He's part of it. Is he not?
Is Chad coming for the compensation piece?
I believe so.
Okay.
Who invited Chad? Did you talk to him?
I talked to him and was requested that he come, so he was here.
So how do we have to do that?
We know, we already have it. I have an executive session when we go into it. I have.
Oh, we just
the
named
form.
what we're gonna have.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I have this one.
so we gotta make it do it.
But let's do that. Let's do the other PD stuff first and then we'll catch that.
Okay, so it's compensation of a public employee.
Correct.
I just don't want Brian Ames to be watching this and we do something wrong once again. So. Okay, so you don't need anything for that, right?
So we were good with the motion we made for the amended agenda.
So,
And we need POs. Yeah, I did that call. We already did it.
okay. Okay, now purchase orders, is this the same thing? This is from this time, so that would have to be Nick and Sue, they signed it.
They did.
Okay. I can still make a motion that we approve the purchase orders. I need a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike,
I'm gonna abstain.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
And I'm gonna make a motion to approve the warrants.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike,
I'm gonna abstain.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, and there are no public here. Do we have any safety concerns?
No.
You guys all good? And so is anybody representing the PD? Nick, are you up?
Yep. I'm up to speed with what Roy has here.
You want to do it or do you want me to do it?
It's up to you. I talked to Roy. I have the pieces too, so
Go
I'll
ahead.
give the update.
Go ahead.
All right, no old business from PD today. New business is Roy is requesting board approval for the new Officer Police Academy training costs. This is an agreement that we utilize to onboard new police officers from the academy to help with to help obtain new officers. We were struggling to find people in the interview process. So Officer Christopher McKenzie and Zachariah Sheffick both were onboarded on April 16th. The agreement was to reimburse them for police academy costs in the amount of $5,000 per person within 30 days of hire. In this agreement, though, they signed a 3-year agreement to stay on board with Brimfield Township as police officers. If they leave before that 3-year appointment, there is a step-down process in which they would have to reimburse those funds to us. This is something we talked about in a previous board meeting, utilizing this grant opportunity or this stipend piece to bring people on board. So we are 2 weeks into their onboarding, so they have signed the agreement and they submitted it. So we're requesting board approval to reimburse them those costs.
And I have the agreement down here, which is requiring Roy's signatures, the employees, and my signature. So as soon as we pass this, I'll sign this and then give this back to Roy.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the new Officer Police Academy training cost bonus agreement for both new officers. I need a second for discussion.
I'll second that.
Well, let me throw in this too. I know we're in a very, very competitive marketplace and we're doing the same thing in fire to try to we're not competitive right now. So in order to retain or add new employees, we have to get into the market. And this is one of those that I know there's a couple other, I found out the other day, a couple other departments that are doing the same thing out there. So if we don't do it, we're going to start losing to that as well.
There's even police departments that utilize, they hire them before the academy, they pay them all through the academy. So this is a kind of nice middle of the road opportunity for the township. And it gives us a chance to kind of vet them in the academy to make sure they're going to work out what we want for our township. So I think it's a good opportunity.
I do too, and I think it's just it's a needed requirement that we need to compete.
Just a quick question. So did this go through an attorney then to have this written up?
I believe Roy talked to Jonathan Downs, I believe is who we had this.
You know what I'm asking, John, as I pursue what I was looking, going forward
You
with.
take copies of this?
Well, I almost need to
Yeah.
know where he went with that. So
Yeah, I believe it was Jonathan Downs, but I'm not
I'll
I'm
speak,
not 100%.
I'll speak to Roy on that. Thank you.
All right, do you have any other? All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. I will get this to Roy.
You're gonna give the update on?
And then the next
Chief
piece,
excuse me one sec, Chief just did text me, he said Attorney Downs did look at this.
Okay. I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
then just for informational, for everybody on your calendars, the DARE program graduation for Brimfield Elementary is going to take place on May 23rd at 6 p.m. at Brimfield Elementary School, if anybody would like to attend. Lastly, he has his calls for service up here. Year to date for 2023 was 5,356, which is up from 2022 of 5,161. Lastly, he has executive session for compensation of a public employee or official, which you already have those documents, correct, John?
I do.
And that's the update from the PD at this time.
Okay, Greg?
Okay, fire department, calls to date right now are 505 approximately for the year. We're up a little bit from last year. It was not on here, but I did meet with Tamarack, one nursing home. I'll meet with the other nursing homes. We're working with our UH doctor on, they're having trouble with getting private ambulance service versus 911 service. So we're working through that right now because we're seeing a spike in calls, which we knew we would, but we got to make sure that we're still running 911 for the township. Just blood labs or whatever you want to
You
call
mean
it.
like taking people to doctors or?
No, not necessarily. So we'll get called for I'm just throwing out a random one, low sodium. Well, that's not 911. You could go make a call to your doctor, but we're transporting them to the hospital now because they don't have the capabilities of
Well, who usually,
contracting.
who usually fills that void?
Well, it's private ambulance that would fill that void, but that's on them to contract.
Oh, so they're,
AMR, community ambulance,
so they're just having,
physicians ambulance.
so they're having labor shortage or?
All they said is they can't get anybody to come.
Are they running the same, come with you, they have to get EMS people.
Well, my argument back to them is I can't be running a non-911 transport.
Oh, no, I get that, but are they having the same probably issues that you are getting EMS people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what he said. I mean, we know that, so private ambulances post up. So they strategically put ambulances out and sit and wait for calls. And typically we have someone at CARG and they can't even come. They're right there. So we're working together with their doctor and trying to work through that before they would call us. But it's really pushing our call volume on that. So I expect to see us up 200 to 300 calls each year. So then that's a lot. So that wasn't on there, but I'm just letting you know where we're at on that. Station build, what you don't see out there is that there's been a lot of movement in the electrical room. That would be the old fire prevention office in my side of the building right now. They've been really, it's a slow tedious pulling all the lines from the generator pad under the ground, pulling those in, attaching all that. So a lot of work's being done in there. Painting, there's been a lot. Roof leak repairs, there was roof leaks. John and I have walked that and we're on the same page about that. We think that those are cleaned up.
They stopped,
I'll check today. So they were supposed to be back out on that.
I mean, that was the second time around. The first time they came through and fixed it, but they still were leaking, right?
Yes, in different spots.
Okay.
So
How's the upstairs look?
it's good. It's good.
Are they painting anything?
Yep, there's drywall, there's paint. It's looking really good. Like I said, when you look from the outside, you might not see much, but there's workers on the inside working pretty hard.
When did they put in your fire pole?
It's working. There's it's a round pole base that you go in, and they made it square. So now they're trying to figure out how to make it round again. So just working through issues. They'll figure it out.
I'll go down, yeah, rip the pole.
Yeah.
Just to add
Just be
to that,
careful, please.
the sleeping quarters in there, I guess I didn't understand how they were gonna be set up, but those are really cool, how those are set one by one next to each other, and they're all gonna have, did you say you were getting a screen or
Well,
door now, or?
We're working on doors. There's, in the end, there's gonna be a couple additional things that you just don't think of when you're building, but they had curtains before. We're trying to get like a slider door put on instead. Just a little more privacy.
Does that go this way when you're walking down the hall, so you just run into a bunch, because don't they have a TV in the corner?
Right.
Wouldn't it block that off from each?
Yeah, a little more privacy than a curtain. When they say curtain, I just think shower curtain. It just sounds cheap. We're doing it so good. I'm trying to do it.
No, I thought that was really cool, how that was all set up. That was, I guess I didn't realize that's what it was gonna look like.
I'm hoping it'll be a selling point for you for new.
Oh, I think it will. John, we'll come to you eventually here. We're working on some stuff, but we have a lot of good positives in Brimfield that other places don't have. So
We're building that on right now.
yeah. I mean, new station, good department, good call volume. We got a lot of good things. So we're working on some other things. Good. That we'll bring to you.
Okay.
The other biggest thing is the sprinkler system, reevaluated, so they came back to the county and said, you need sprinklers across your open bay areas. And we said, why? They kind of agreed, now they have to redraw it, so it's slowing things down, but we're having some issues with the sprinklers.
For God's sake, you got fire trucks. You can,
I
without
agree,
any fire, I hope.
but it slows things down because they're not going to put a ceiling up until they have the finalized sprinkler there.
Are they up yet, or they just didn't even put them up yet?
They put them up, the county said you don't have enough. The guy came out and said, yes, you do. Now he's got to go back to the county, so. And it just takes a while. So
Okay.
that's slowing us down a little bit on that. The only other thing I have, unless you have any questions on the station, anyone?
I know we talked a week or two ago. Have you talked to them about the silt fencing and getting some of that mud off the sidewalks, trying to get that?
They didn't clean that up, but if you notice, we talked about the gazebo, right?
Mhm.
They keep going around the fence, so we have to move all the fence out of the way so we can start reshaping that, because it's almost like it blocks everybody from working on that area. It's like they forget, so they
Right.
moved that over. Soon I talked to them about that. I think the biggest thing I have a problem with right now is the topographical layout. If you know that if you come over, they poured the new sidewalk going up to the admin. Remember, we had a retaining wall there for a reason. Well, now it's just, that's why we had a retaining wall. So little things that we're gonna have to figure out, the gazebo area. They've talked about, can they cut the deck back some and make a softer grade? I don't know.
Deck.
Not the surround, bringing it back some.
Tell them they screwed up and to put a frickin'.
I know, so the topographical layout, whoever did that, that's probably the worst. Everything else is going really good except how they laid it out.
Well, why are they fighting you on this? It's their screw up.
They're not fighting, they're
They're
not
trying to
giving me an answer, right, Sue?
Right.
I mean,
Can't they just put
It's
up
not
a
that you
frickin'?
haven't asked.
yeah, we ask every
I
time.
ask every time.
Yeah,
Can't they put up a retaining wall?
well, they will,
They might
at
be
a
able to
cost.
afford it. Yeah, but it's their mistake.
Sue, jump in here, we talk about it every time.
Well, I'm just concerned, I want it shaped so that the road department doesn't have to hand mow
Amen.
and cause the road department guys to do more in mowing that grass.
I think it's gonna work out fine, it's just, they haven't given me an answer yet of how that's all shaped out.
Are they paving today? I saw a couple people parking in my parking lot today.
I don't know why that was.
Oh, I just thought.
I actually asked that when I came out, I'm like, why is?
I don't care, I just thought they.
We'll get it moved back over, I don't know why that answer was. The only other thing I have, the new hire will start May 1st, he'll be on 2 weeks of 40s, he's done all his paperwork and his pension physical and all that, and we're excited to get back to full staffed, and with that being said, I have one leaving. So we'll be back to not full staffed here.
Who's leaving? Are you allowed to say it?
I won't say a
Okay.
name, but they went to Ken, so. I get one and I lose one, so we'll be back to square one, so.
We're working on something for that as well, we just got done, so.
Okay.
But, other than that, it's just station building, so that's really all I'm working on right now. That's it.
Good. Okay, so administration, there's nothing other than,
No, we did have.
Did you have anything?
Didn't we just add?
Yeah, I got the one here for new business, but no.
Oh, no, we don't have old business at all.
Okay, I was thinking about this, down in Florida, and I really think, so, technically Craig is doing the fire part. So I think we need a trustee liaison in charge of the zoning, in charge of the administration part, just so we keep everything together. And Sue, my thoughts are to have you do that, since you're the only trustee that's been going to the meetings. And whatever you would need to help pull it together, just so you can be like our liaison that come back to the board in reference to the admin.
I can do that if you all approve of it.
Yeah, I just don't have the time. I know Nick is working full-time also, so my suggestion is you. So I just need a second. I'm gonna make the motion. So we appoint Sue to be the liaison to the administration portion of the bill. That just doesn't mean she just is going to do it, but she's the one that's gonna actually be there and go to the meetings and bring it back to all of us.
I'll second that.
Any questions?
No, I just don't want to put Craig in a position. I just think I appreciate everything you've done, Craig.
Yeah.
For your part.
So
It's not that you can't help her or give her advice.
I was just gonna say, so for clarification, once the fire station's done, you'll be attending the meetings.
So,
It's fine.
Anyone can attend the meetings. 2 trustees can attend, but they just can't, we can't vote on anything. It's just gotta be there for.
Yeah, it's really, if anybody did, and I've invited everybody, it's all informational.
Right.
So,
So I just think it would make it easier for Nick and I to hear from her. Nothing, so that's my thoughts.
no, I agree with you, that's great, because I'm gonna be busy enough on my side.
So, I know you.
Thank you.
Hey, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes,
Sue?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passed.
okay, thank you. Zoning, Mike?
Yep, thanks. What you'll see here is it's a request for motion for the trustees to set a public hearing. It's within 30 days of April 20th, following zoning map and amendment changes. There's a whole list here of text amendments, as well as 2 large zoning map changes for public hearing. Zoning Commission on April 20th went through all this. It came back from regional planning. Everything has been approved through regional planning, and we just need to set a public hearing date for this. I was hoping just prior to the next trustee meeting would be good. We didn't have anybody in attendance for our public hearing.
Okay, so what's the date of the next?
Next trustee meeting would be May 3rd. The question is, how many days do we need to advertise?
It's got to be within 30 days of the 20th,
But how long do we have to advertise before we hold the public hearing?
10 days.
So advertise it
You
today.
get it in today, that'd be good.
No, that'd be 9. This next Wednesday.
That's true, 4 days. 5:45.
So you could do the 17th.
That's fine.
So then you do it on the morning of the 17th.
So we're gonna do it prior to the meetings?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll make a motion that we schedule a public hearing for this zoning, what do I have to call it?
Text and map amendments.
The what?
Text and map amendments.
Applying for map and text amendment changes on the May 17th at 7:30.
Nobody showed up. If you want to do,
7:45.
7:45 would probably be good.
Okay, just need a second. for
I'll
discussion.
second that.
You said the 17th.
Yeah.
Yes, 7:45.
Yes, 7:45.
Okay. Damn.
Mhm. So give you a chance to read all this stuff.
Tax amendment change, Mike, is that what I should put it in?
Zoning map and text amendment,
That's correct.
because it affects the map, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's, we've been working with zoning commission and BZA. Zoning commission has been working hard on this stuff. This has been, in the works for a while. These map changes are quite large map changes, but they're going to be reflective in our new comprehensive land use plan, which we're working on this year and updating. So it's going to coincide.
Okay.
Did you see that new shop that just went in, the smoke shop?
Yes,
I didn't know if that came through.
it did. Just waiting on their signs. They're about 2 weeks behind.
Where is that at?
Right next to his Chipotle in that plaza there.
It had been GNC.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, as I got off the airplane, and after Canton, I had a guy getting on the airplane to go to West Palm Beach, him and his wife, and they asked me, when is Aldi's gonna be open?
Yeah. I mean, I'm here in mid-May now, so.
My wife just looked at me like, really?
I did notice though, in Green the other day, there's an Aldi sitting there, looks like it's finished. but
Same
it's
thing.
open, So they're having the same issue.
I mean, how is it on the inside? Is it pretty much done?
Coolers are up, signs are up.
So mid-May?
That's what they're saying.
Wow,
It's
crazy.
supposed to be Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Wow. Just glad to have it in.
Like I also had a resident call about a house we tore down on Howe Road. They want to know how that works, how the township charges that back to the property taxes, because they keep looking at that property's taxes to see if they're gonna be, because they basically want to buy the property.
Is that the one that was behind the house? That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
And how does that work? So once we tear it down, it goes to fiscal and fiscal puts it on their taxes. So that land has that as an assessment on that property.
Because he looked at the tax duplicate, didn't see it there yet, so he was wondering. I
That
didn't
was
know.
just recent there, though, we tore that down, right?
Yes.
I'll double check on that.
Okay.
Kirsten, can you check on that right now?
Yeah, usually I think that goes through Brett. Once I pass it off to them with the total fees, I think you contact Brett and then it gets assessed out to him.
But it's been recent, so I don't know if we got it in yet or if it's just in their hands. I don't know. She'll find out.
Okay. Yeah, because he's just interested in buying the property. So.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
And you'll see the one, Brimfield Drive is down now, and then the one on Mogador is down. We're gonna go after one other one this year for search warrants. Doralee is in the process, so we're getting closer with Doralee.
So the one on 43 is coming down right now, right? There it is next to the.
No, that one is just for sale, that one. So we did a search warrant on that. Oh, the one next to the mower place,
Yeah.
they're fixing up. The mower place is gonna expand. And he bought the property and he's gonna use that as rental.
Oh, so he's fixing the house.
He's fixing it.
Okay.
Something's going
Yeah,
on.
but you'll see some more search warrants coming through.
There was a Charger in the garage that was all beat to hell.
Mhm.
Sorry, Rich. It was sitting out in front of the house and it was all beat up and all dusty, so they must have pulled that out of the garage.
Yeah, they pulled a ton of stuff out of there.
It wasn't. It looked like it was one of those 2010 Chargers. I mean, it didn't look that old.
Yeah.
But it was sure dinged up and beat up. That's what had been inside that garage the whole time.
Wow.
So,
Nope.
sorry.
Cool. Okay. So we're all good? Okay, thanks, Mike.
Sure.
Dave,
Yeah, just want to let everybody know, we're trying to do some dirt patching right now, weather permits it. We replaced some culvert pipes for driveways. We've been doing some ditching, still working on some of the road projects with the county, get the final numbers of what the cost of some of the paving projects will be. We did some work at the library. If you notice, I put some stone in between the parking lot and the driveway because people were cutting through and I didn't want to see the parking lot get damaged. So I put some bigger rocks in there because it was actually trucks that were driving through there. You can see dually tires.
On the new parking lot?
Mhm. So we put some rock size anywhere from the size of a bowling ball and up. So this way they know if they hit it, they'll know it. So plus we made it a little bit of a mound so you can see it. So it's not like it's, actually it looks pretty nice. So at least I think it looks pretty good, but.
So you're saying leave it there?
Yeah, that's staying there. Oh yeah, we're gonna leave it there. It kind of separates the driveway from the parking lot too, so. Starting next week, May 1st, we'll be going on, the road department will be going on 10-hour days. That's what's scheduled in our contracts. We'll be working Tuesday through Fridays. On the agenda, I need a resolution to put up no parking signs on Cranberry Creek Phase 1 and 2 on the fire hydrant side. I've been in talks with Tim Tracy from the HOA. They've been really asking for some no parking signs there, and I just wanted to see if the board would approve it, put the signs up so far in Phase 1 and 2. I drove through there and they are double parking.
I drove through after you told me.
Yeah, it's no common, well, I won't say
No
no
common
common
sense.
sense, but they're parking right across from me, and they're actually blocking the hydrants too, so.
I'm gonna make that resolution, Dave,
Okay.
to put up no parking signs, Cranberry Creek Phase 1 and 2 on the fire hydrant side.
I'll second that.
Do you have a cost or you just?
No, I got signs.
Okay, good.
But the problem is when we do 3, we'll probably have to do 3 and 4 too, once if we get that passed to us, but
I understand.
right now it's just for Phase 1, 2. I think 10 signs sitting there and I have posts and stuff still.
It's
So,
like more than that.
well, when we start, yeah, Phase 3 and 4 too, so.
You know, growing up in Guyton Falls, they always did it that way, so. Okay,
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and then I need the board's approval, a resolution for design purposes for a total of $28,283 for the Klein Road Culvert project. It's the same thing we set up every time with the county when it comes to these culvert projects. We need an engineer firm to engineer the project, and we also need an environmental firm to get all of our proper permits through Army Corps of Engineers, check the waterways and all that stuff. So it's the same thing we did on Howe Road, the same thing we did on Malloy and Selnick. And that way we have all the proper stuff moving forward.
That really helps out.
Yes, well, this doesn't include the inspection of the job. This is just to get the job engineered and get the permits.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to pass a resolution for design purposes for $28,283 for the Klein Road Culvert project.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. I have the check here, which was not part of the original ones because it wasn't approved yet. So if Nick and Sue can sign that, we'll be all set.
Okay, I want to thank the board for all that, and that's all I got.
Hey,
Hey Dave, just mentioning the Cassie, I took a walk around the paved parking trail,
Mhm.
which is great. There's a couple spots, well, there's actually 3 spots that are holding water. Can you look at it and see, is there any way we can fix that so they don't? Because I mean, if you walk around right now, you'll see there.
It just all depends on where they're at. I mean,
Well, let's just take a look at it.
yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not a big deal. And then whenever they get bored, there's that dead tree that's hanging down there parallel to 76. It's not blocking the road, but it's just laying there. I know it'll make it easier to mow. So, okay, but other than that, it was great.
Okay.
They were mowing, We did some mowing.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We were actually, I was gonna have them touch mow today, but with all the rain that we weren't supposed to get the last 2 days, we kind of pulled off on that, so.
Too wet. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Dave.
Hey, Dave, real quick, Hunter's Ridge, I know we made a motion to buy that sign last year.
Yes.
What's the game plan for that? What's the status?
Right now, the sign, I was just talked to, graphic detail and the sign, they're getting ready to start making the sign now.
Okay.
I told them it wasn't a rush. I wasn't gonna do nothing through the winter with it, so. I'm looking into, I'm just trying to figure out what I wanna do with that whole hiccup there. Because of the bushes that are there, I don't know if I wanna rip all the bushes completely out and replant bushes, mulch it.
Mhm.
And then put the new sign up, or if I wanna go a little longer with the old sign and leave the bushes as is. I'm still trying to figure out what I should do with
Yeah,
that
I
mess.
thought the best thing would be to rip them all out.
I think it would be to put some bushes in that we control and keep them from being such a big cluster in the middle. Because the bad part is we would trim them. I think we'd have a lot more stick looking stuff than,
Well,
probably make it look worse.
I mean, there's one couple that takes care of that sign. I think the name was Tackett's.
Yeah, something like that.
So I don't, they were really adamant at one point about keeping the old wooden sign, but I understand it's rotted and everything. So I don't know. Nick, have you had any talk with them?
I haven't heard, but I usually know about this time of year, they send that email again to say,
Yeah, to
what's the
paint it.
township doing? Should we go paint it? What's the
Right,
status?
no, actually, yeah, the new sign is it's on their thing to make now. I actually talked to them,
I mean, personally, as one trustee, I think you need to move forward and get it done.
yeah, well, we get the sign made now.
Yeah, because those bottom posts look like they're ready to kick out anytime.
It'd be all right. If they went down, then it wouldn't be arguing about the sign, but.
But I would do whatever you can for that area that's best for you.
Well, and that's the
Get it
thing.
out.
It ain't like we're gonna put an array of bushes in, like 20 bushes or something. It'll just be a few down the middle, some mulch, new sign and be done
Well,
with
I
it.
mean, that might look pretty.
Right.
It's done right. Yep. Okay, well, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Anybody else say you got anything?
No,
Okay.
fine.
Let's see, parks.
I just have some informational items for the board today. The Messner Acres barn demolition is set to start either late this week or early next week. I'm very excited for that to happen. We had a Brimfest meeting after the last trustee meeting on the 5th to discuss the parade logistics. Past programs, we had Ohio Baby Animals program on the 7th. That went very well. And also this should be a past program as well. We had a plant swap event this past Saturday. That went okay. I think the rain kept some people away, but we got some extra plants, so that's nice. And then upcoming on May 13th, we have the spring cleanup day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at Lions Park.
So is it, but that's also, so that's the day we're gonna be working on the trails, right?
Yes, yep. It's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The cleanup part is always, like the park cleanup part is always shorter than that though. And then on June 2nd, we are doing the first Portage County Parks Summer Showcase event. So this will be a joint program with Portage Park District, Ravenna, Kent, and Brimfield. We're working to all work together, all the different park districts in the county. We've been having some meetings together, how we can join forces and get more information out about our parks. So that event is June 2nd. Time is to be determined, but that'll be at City Park in Ravenna. So we'll be setting up a booth and having some displays about what types of programs we offer and some pictures of our parks and things like that.
That's great, networking, that's a great way to get out there.
Yes, I think that was a missing piece here in Portage County. So that's something we did a lot
So
in
you're
Summit
getting to
County.
know a lot of the department heads and stuff.
Yes, yeah, we all, it's nice that we're small enough, we can all meet and share ideas, so that's very nice. As soon as we all got in a room together, our brains started coming up with all these great ideas. So we're hoping to do another one in the fall as well. And then on Saturday, June 17th, we'll have our Touch It Truck event from 11 to 2. And that's all. Busy season is kicking off for parks.
But did your intern start yet?
No, she's not gonna start till, August, I think late August or early September, like right when the school year starts. And then she'll be with us the whole school year.
I'm sure you got a lot ready for her.
Yes, she was at our baby animals program and I'm like, are you ready to do this? She's like, absolutely, so.
That's great. Anybody have any questions for
It said
Cassie?
June 17th.
Mike, I do,
Yes.
actually.
Okay.
I just got a comment real quick. I know it's not really the time, but we briefly talked about Brimfest, and just so the trustees know, when the parade comes, we will still be a construction zone. So we'll have to advertise around us
Yeah.
still.
The sidewalk will still be okay though.
I think we'll be the sidewalks will be okay, but we'll still be, even if we're done, which we'll be heavy into the admin
Sure.
side. So just so the trustees are aware, how we're gonna have to work around that.
And then I heard that you guys aren't doing the pancake breakfast, which is fine.
We talked about that.
Right, it's fine.
Do you want us to do it?
No, I think
Okay.
with everything going on right now, I mean, Cassie and I talked, I personally is one, I think it's not a bad idea.
Well,
I think, you know, what I mentioned to Cassie, you know, it's up to her, maybe rather, believe me, I like donating to the fire department.
Right.
But I would not mind donating pancake breakfast to do something some fall for
Okay.
the parks or something, you know?
Well, once we're done, I plan on
Right.
bringing everything
I'd
back
like to do a
in-house.
maple syrup festival or something, just,
Okay.
you know, I just think so much is going on in the attendance, but it was a lot of work for the few people that showed up.
I agree, and we had
Yeah.
discussed that coming off last year, when we have the fire station open, and if we wanna bring it back there, we just get so much better attendance. Last year, I think I counted 18 people, and I had like 18 workers. So it wasn't cost
It just
effective
didn't-
unless we bring it back over.
I mean, believe me, it'll be a lot off of my plate.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that, with the idea that if you guys want us to bring it back once we're open, great. It would be more centralized,
You guys work.
so, okay, good.
I mean, it'd be nice to eventually even, I'm just throwing ideas out there, even if we had a simple, when everything's done, the township, maybe have a pancake breakfast on the new township green.
Well, I'd like to have, I know you're a little different than I was, but setting up something for springtime.
Right,
Pancake
there's a lot of
breakfast,
different
and
things.
then our fall time senior luncheon,
Right.
something like that.
Well, I have a dream that someday that overhang at the garage will be cleaned off, that we could set up some grills out there and we cook some. I have a dream.
Give me a year, give me another year. I mean,
I don't know, I went back there during my dream and I saw a lot of rotten wood and
Well,
stuff.
we
Yeah, but
had-
I understand you've got a lot going on, so.
we
there's no
don't
point.
have a closet left right now,
I
so
know,
we're just,
but I have a
So
dream
we
we'll have a lot of room someday.
I hope that dream comes true. I know it will, it just.
Oh, I know, I
it's-
mean, you're knee deep in a construction.
We were supposed to be done in February, but that way, so it's a little frustrating because,
But I think the end is gonna justify the means.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So it's,
no, it'll be
you
nice.
just gotta look forward. I mean, you guys are doing the best you can considering the.
I-
Post,
Like I told the guys the other day, I can't, if I just go out there and scream, it doesn't make another worker come. I just,
oh, I know, I just, when I
Just
talk
we are
to,
what we
when
are.
I talk to Scott, I mean, just everyone is the same thing. Just nobody wants to work.
so.
Well, even in that area where the garage is, one of our plans is to do that area between there and the library too, to kind of figure out what we're gonna do with that.
But we still have the pad back there that's been poured and,
Well, that'll be the expanded kind of range.
Well, we just need to figure out what we do with all that.
I mean, that'll be Cassie's part of the project, but you will kind of shift from the gazebo over to that area. Just being
Is that a bird? I saw a bird go.
Sounds like somebody fell.
I said that was heavier than a bird.
Big bird.
Damn turkey vultures.
Oh, somebody walked down the ramp and came around this way.
You got,
Oh, got it.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, hurry up and sit down. He won't even know you came.
I checked.
It was Chad.
Oh. That's how I do that.
We thought that was a bird outside.
I thought something fell down the stairs already.
John went out to check.
I know when I was over there talking to Cassie and Aaron, I mean, Cassie had some thoughts about possibly thinning some of those trees down.
Yeah, and actually at the plant swap event, Ann Headington from the library board was there and we started talking about some things we'd like to see back there, so.
I mean, you know, we lose part of the town green and now we gain a big part of the town green, so it's, everything's evolving. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Good.
Cassie, I know you started working on the flag. Are we gonna try to get the flagpole ready before Memorial Day, or that's just not gonna happen this year?
I was on vacation last week, so I can, I started to look into it, but I can look into it this week.
Okay.
And you got my email, I forwarded you
Yes.
everything. Okay.
Yep.
That's, you do whatever you want, it's your project, but that's probably the only one you're gonna find.
Yeah.
It's Cuyahoga Falls Flag.
Mary right now from the Lions Club gave me a nice brochure with a bunch of flags and things for the American Legion, so I'm gonna go through that.
Okay, Joe.
Okay. We had a kickoff meeting with department heads or representatives from each department with Civic Plus on the website on the 2nd of May. So once we have that kickoff meeting, the project with Civic Plus will officially start. As I said, we're looking at possibly as much as 6 months in development time. We won't know a good timeline until we get the project started.
Do you have your group of people all
Yes.
set up? Everybody's good? Okay.
Yeah, so I've got some email, either have the department head being represented in the meeting, or they've elected someone in their department to represent the department. The goal is that obviously you want to make sure I've got input from all departments on their section of the website, and then that person would be continuing through the project and will be given the training from Civic Plus on how to use the product and maintain their section of the site. But even that said, as part of our contract with Civic Plus, we have ongoing support. There's no real limit to it. So even if, after the site goes live, a department has issues, or, we as a township have issues, Civic Plus isn't going anywhere. We can contact them at any time and they will continue to help us. That's all part of the contract we signed with them. So we don't have any additional cost if we have to contact them. So I'm glad that we're, finally moving forward and getting the new site done. The other thing I want to do is have a kind of discussion with the board is about our internet connection. Right now, in all of our facilities, we're utilizing Spectrum cable internet, which is more or less the same cable internet you have at home if you have cable internet. One of the challenges with that is upload speed. If you're a home consumer, you're more interested in downloading and looking at stuff. But as a business or a township, we have to look at how we send data back out to the internet. I'm going to use the police department as our primary example because they are the largest mover of data. So as the police department is interacting with Kent State and they're starting to send larger and larger files, that the speed issue that they're having is upload and sending information to Kent. No matter how much, whatever package we pick from Spectrum coax, that's only increasing the download speed. 30 megabit is as fast as you can go up. So it doesn't matter, even if we go to gigabit cable, we're never gonna go above 30, which is the speed we have currently. The only way to go faster than that is to go with fiber. There's also some other advantages with data security. Fiber is a dedicated internet, whereas cable, you're all talking on the same network. So I live literally less than a mile from the fire department, police department, so I'm on the same network as those. So if I pick myself here, if I'm out there downloading some really big files, I would be then slowing down the internet connection for everyone in the area. So we're at the mercy of everyone else on that network at speed. Whereas we're fiber, if we pay for 500, we get 500. We're not sharing it with anyone else.
Who's fighting with?
Right now, the quote I have, the best quote I have in front of me is with Spectrum. They want to maintain our deal. The other advantage that Spectrum has is they are part of the state contract. So one of the things I did earlier this year was we signed up as for the Ohio Buys program that allows us access to state bids and state contracts. One of those, actually, the reason that I was made aware of that was my sales rep from Spectrum came to me and said, hey, just let you know on the DL, if you're part of this program, you're eligible for better pricing. And it actually cut a significant amount from their initial quote because we're part of that. So this circuit is going to be at the Ohio State contract pricing. So what they're proposing, what I'm proposing to the board is a two-phase approach. So we'd have a 500 meg in both directions fiber internet connection brought into the police department. and then a fiber link via Spectrum. So it'd still be their network that we're paying for them to maintain, but they would link the police department to the fire department. The fire department would get its internet via the police. So that connection would just be linking the two buildings together via Spectrum's fiber, but it would be our connection. So it would be a 200 meg connection between police and fire, and then fire would have a 500 meg internet. So in effect, we'd be reserving theoretically 300 meg dedicated to the police, even if the fire department was using all 200 of theirs. Not that I'd expect either department to be at that, but it would, that way we're never going to have a potential town hall / fire ever flooding police. Police, having their VPN to Kent State is very vital to its operations. We don't want to flood that.
And the security issues on that get much better with fiber versus.
Yeah, as I said, not that it happens as much now, but as I said, I'm on the same network as our fire and police today. So there are some tools that allow me to see other people that are on that same coax network. In the beginning days, if you remember when it was Time Warner and you had Roadrunner, that, what was it, 15, 20 years ago, that almost no one knew about firewalls and routers and stuff. They would just take the cable modem and plug it directly into their computer because that's how Time Warner sold it to you. And I was one of those computer geeks, I literally could open my computer and I could see every single computer that was on that Time Warner network. Because back in the Roadrunner days, they would give you a cable modem and you plugged it directly into your PC. You didn't put a router in between it. So I could sit there and literally see everyone's computer. So if you had a very tech-savvy person that was sitting on the same network as our fire or police, they can navigate that network. Now, we have firewalls, we have stuff in place. But if someone really wanted to and they knew how to find a hole in our firewall, it gives them one additional access. So if we had someone literally sitting in Brimfield that knew that we had this model firewall and they happen to know there's an exploit with it, it gets them one step closer. Whereas if we're in fiber, there is no one else. It's us and the internet. So we take that little bit of a layer out. Now, is that possible? Yes, it's not very likely that we'd have a hacker sitting in Brimfield that knew that, but it makes us one level safer being on a true fiber network, and it's a little bit more redundant. There's less reasons that fiber goes down than copper. Copper is older technology, and eventually they are going to start removing the copper network. Now, I can't say it's going to be in 5 years or 10 years, but fiber is replacing copper. So at some point in the near future, we're going to be forced to convert anyways. If you remember with AT&T, our phone lines, the township was forced to get off the copper phone lines over to VoIP about 3 or 4 years ago. So eventually Spectrum's going to do the same thing. Copper isn't the future, it's fiber.
So you have everything today for what you want to do?
Yes, I have a contract available right now waiting to be signed. Well, one of the other things that Spectrum is offering us, if we're willing to sign by the end of the month, which is why I'm bringing it up today, is they're willing to give us the first 3 months of internet access for free. We still pay for the circuit, but we wouldn't pay for internet until the 4th month. So that's about a savings of $950 each month. So the total price, including the internet, so with both circuits and the internet, we're looking at $1,500 a month. That gets us that 500 by 500 internet into the police department and a 200 by 200 link to the fire department. And then, once the circuit's there, if in a year we say, fire department needs more speed, police, it's just a phone call, they make some code changes, and it goes faster. So increases in speed, are much, much easier once the circuits are in place.
How much are we paying now per month for the service?
We are paying just over $200 per building. So we're paying, let's just say about $400 for the 2 facilities today. So it is an increase in our internet cost.
I'm going to make a motion for this so we can discuss it, so I just need a second.
Second.
Okay.
What, is there an installation cost beyond the
No.
200? Okay.
It is a 36-month contract. So we would be signing for 36 months, and they would nullify the installation. The installation would have been $250. So it really wasn't that much anyways, because both buildings already have conduit to the road. So
Okay.
the construction cost, the expensive piece, already was done. You know, the police department already had it, and it was already part of the bill with the fire department. So the expensive piece would have already been done, so it would just been that little loop into the building, which would have been not a lot, but they went ahead and waived it if we signed 36 months, which is, I didn't see, you know, that's very normal in telecom for 36-month contracts.
And so that locks us in at the price for 36 months too.
Yes.
Is there any physical hardware changes that will be necessary?
They would
for
be
this?
providing a router.
They'll
So,
provide it.
yeah, they similar to the cable modem we have today, they would bring a fiber router in. Everything on our side would stay the same. I mean, nothing that we have on our side, our firewall and stuff, would support the speed increase, because we're not going terribly fast.
So as a department head, this is what you're recommending?
Yes, I feel that, you know, with the amount of data that we are planning on using, I think we need to get a business class internet. You know, the police department already is pretty much taxing their current connection. Most of that we're getting away with because we do a lot of stuff at night. Like they save files to their server locally, and then about 4 a.m. that server's then backed up to the cloud. So there's less officers in the department, if there is any officers in the department in the middle of the night. If they were there and we ever had a full staff for some reason at night, they would notice, because we're pretty much flooding that internet connection every evening while we take their local files and we back them up to the cloud. This is going to relieve that. If we ever had to do a backup in the middle of the day, I don't think they'd even notice with a fiber connection. And yeah.
This is kind of a question for John and you both. Will this affect UAN at all, or do you already have a dedicated line for UAN?
So they'll still just use the same fiber connection.
So it'll still go over that fiber?
Yeah, but we have, it's just, we can't have any Internet Explorer or anything like that on the UAN system.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need to change something.
No, we're on the Spectrum one right now.
Okay.
So it just has, that computer can only be UAN files.
Okay.
So no, it won't be a problem.
I'm ready for the vote.
Okay, but you've talked to Chris Atkins, I'm sure, so he's.
I've been discussing this with both departments a little bit. But yes, Chris is very aware of this.
Ready for a vote?
Yes.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Yes.
motion passed.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Just give me whatever you need to sign off on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it, you know. So that is all I have for right now. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anything else that we missed? Okay, well then, I just want to make sure we do this right, so,
Hit cemetery quick in case.
cemetery, okay, sorry, John.
Sue, did you want to?
No, I'm ready, Connie.
Okay. Just so you know, we're having what date is our next meeting? It's the final planning before the Memorial Day service. So the cemetery committee is going to be meeting again just to finalize plans with that, but again, we're doing it at 8:00 in the morning. So with the time change to fit with everybody else, so. The fiscal of mine's I do have I guess we can talk about this before you go in. I have two separate executive sessions, but they both can fall under one executive session form here. Just one is for compensation of a public employee, and then also one is for consideration for employment. They're both employment issues, so I don't see any reason, unless you guys think that we need to have two separate executive session forms, or we just have one.
Chad, what do you think?
This is 12122G1.
Yes,
Yeah, if it fits in that category.
I have two items though, two separate items. Do I need to do two separate sheets?
You're talking about the same subject.
Two separate, but same, yeah, okay. Okay. Then, read that.
The state April 1st, 24th. Trustee Mike Kosinski moved to convene to executive session pursuant to the revised code section 121.22 for the purpose of considering the following matter: employment and/or compensation of a public employee or official. Except as otherwise provided by law, no public body shall hold an executive session for the discipline of an elected official for conduct related to the performance of the elected official's official duties or for the elected official's removal from office. If a public body holds an executive Session pursuant to Division G, one of this section, the motion and vote to hold the executive session shall state which one or more of the approved purposes listed in Division G1 of this section are the purpose for which the executive session is to be held, but need not include the name of any person to be considered at the meeting. In this meeting, I would like to have the fiscal officer, all the trustees, and Chad Murdoch.
Need a second.
So I just need a second.
Second.
Okay, 9 AM, we are, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
We are adjourned to executive session at 9 AM. Okay.
We're back.
Okay, we're back from executive session. Okay. As a result of our executive session, I'm going to make a motion that, or Nick, you go ahead and make it, this is yours.
I'd like to make a motion for a pay raise for the police department administrative staff for $1 per hour, retroactive to April 1st, 2023.
Second.
The reason we're doing this is they were not part of the first admin wave of pay increases. We needed to have HR look at that and do some cost comparisons. So instead of doing the cost of living, we looked at some other pieces, and this brings them up to the bracket that they should be.
And Chief Roy and Chris Atkins are both in support of this.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor, Mike? Actually, who seconded that?
So,
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Questions on any of that? All those in favor, Mike?
yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. We'll get that started.
And in reference to the employment
The job description.
job description, I am making a motion that we approve a job description as a business, for a business manager for our administrative offices who reports to the Board of Trustees. It would be an exempt, full-time, non-bargaining unit job. And this will be to help with the job promotion of Rochelle, our administrative assistant.
Help with that and to, well, there's multiple things in there. It's just a job, a business manager position we're just approving right now.
Right, and this will be available for everyone to look at. And this job description is as good as the next resolution, but this is, at least gives us a starting point to move forward. I need a second for discussion.
Second.
Okay.
I've reviewed the job description. I believe that we need some type of business management position to handle the operations within inside the township. But I do believe that the job description needs additional work. And I think we need to, this has only came across my desk in the past 2 weeks. We really haven't talked too much on the floor about the development of this piece. I believe we need a business manager, but I don't believe this job description is where we need to be. And that's just my opinion. I think there's some work that needs to be done there. And we need to maybe look more at the successes and failures of past positions. We've tried this twice. This will be the third bite of the apple. And I think we need to look at this a little differently, in my opinion.
Okay.
I would like to look at this as being the starting point. This job description is pretty generic. And the job description is the starting point. And that way we can make changes to it later and review it later, but we really need to start.
Right, and I mean, the big thing is this was actually put together by Holly from Human Resources. So this is not just one of, group of trustees figuring this job description out. I mean, I know John had a little, you worked with her a lot, so I mean, you know what I mean? This was, like I just found out about it, but I knew that it was in development, as I was talking to Holly when I went over and visiting her and talking to you. So, I mean, it's nothing that's caught me off guard. And I mean, I'm with you, Sue. I think we need to have a starting point. And I mean, no matter what everybody said, I mean, like I said, Bob Keller did have his good points. And I mean, he served the township well. And, I mean, it's just a starting point. We are growing. I personally do not think we need another level of government that separates the trustees farther from the people we represent. I mean, the one thing, I had, there was points where, I wasn't informed on everything. So I think, the Ohio Revised Code or the Magna Carta were very specific when they created township governments. And I mean, we are the closest type of government to people. It's a crazy world, but at least it gives us a start. And, we do have a vacancy in June, so, we just keep moving forward. So that's my 2 cents.
Well,
And I respect that Holly put this together. I didn't have any communication with her on that. But, township government is very effective, but it becomes more gray as townships grow to the size that we are. And I think that's where the leadership positions become important, that we would change this job description some. And that's just my opinion from my experiences.
Do we, I know there's a motion on the floor, but do we want to add things to that later, or just to approve it as it is now and change?
I would approve it as is, and it's just a fluid document. If we need to make changes, we bring it back to the board and make changes. This is not set in stone. This is a new position. Any position you have to, you talk about your successes and you change your failures and you move forward.
But we didn't do that from when we had 2 other administrative positions. At least I wasn't part of a discussion where we talked about the successes and failures when both Keller and Mullally held those positions.
We
and
did
what
do-
learned from those.
We did do things with Keller. We did make changes, but like I said, that was a different world back then, and there were some department heads, no matter what, didn't want to be involved. And, if Bob Keller didn't move, who knows? He could have still been here. He wasn't on his way out. It was an integral piece.
I'm not saying that he was a failure in his position. Don't take it that way. I'm saying that the position was eliminated after he left. So what were the successes and roadblocks that existed there? The same when Mullally was in the administrative supervisor position. What were the successes and roadblocks that existed there? And have we had those discussions and built them into the job description? That's
I do think part of it, when Bob did retire, I think it was more of a monetary thing for part of it. Back then, because the judges weren't kicking in like they are, so it was a cost. Part of it was a cost saving,
Well, and to bring up the past administrative executive there, township executive position versus this one, we did take out some of the issues that might have caused some failures in the past. With the supervisory, those types of things, we would change that under this title, because we know that didn't work the way that we wanted it to work in all situations. So that was trying to be addressed there. And again, the timeliness of this was, we were putting it together, and then it just everything started kicking into place here with some switching of jobs, and it just came to the forefront here very quickly. So. And yes, I have been, just so you know, on the record, Holly and I had been working on this for a few months before that, just because it was a need. But then times changed with things, and all of a sudden personnel changed, and it just got sped up. So,
okay,
are we ready to vote?
I'm ready.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
No.
Motion passed.
Okay.
Anything else?
Good meeting. I'm gonna make a motion that we end this meeting.
Second.
Hey, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 9:54 again.
I got a 10 o'clock meeting also.
So,
So I'm coming up to the meeting.
okay.